Opportunity also to raise my voice on this very important bill. First of all, I'll start by thanking Honorable Bunyasi for bringing this very timely and very important bill to this House. Mr. Speaker, most of the people who have spoken here, most of the members who have spoken, they have digressed into political issues. But if I may go to the substance of the bill, Mr. Speaker, having read the report, I would say we have adequate legal safeguards on matters of debt management in this country. There are some functions that are performed by CBK. There is also a debt management department in the Treasury. But this bill will basically enhance the level of management of debt management in this country. This bill contains very, very useful provisions, but there are some gaps which the stakeholders have done justice to this bill. Going through the report, you will get an impression that various stakeholders, including Treasury, CBK, and others, Capital Market Authority, they have presented very, very useful suggestions which the committee has adopted. And I think that will further improve the bill in substance. There are a few contradictions in the bill, Mr. Speaker, which may interfere with the roles of CBK, Treasury, and other institutions like Unclaimed Asset Authority. But I think those issues have been raised up in the report, and they will do panel beating to ensure that the functions of the authority do not interfere with the constitutional functions of those offices. Mr. Speaker, there is only one thing that I thought the bill did not focus on, and that is the issue of public debt in relation to the fiscal policy. Because you cannot talk about the public debt without talking about the fiscal processes. How is that going to be done? Because I think one of the solutions to the issue of public debt is to put more sustained action around fiscal policy so that you generate more revenue, so that there is no need to borrow. Mr. Speaker, I've had so many members raise the issue of borrowing. I think borrowing is a good thing. And I think no one in this world, whether you are a successful businessman or you are a private individual, can succeed without borrowing. You will have to borrow. You will have to borrow so that you can grow, including my friend Sankok there. He has to borrow to survive. So borrowing is good, but how you utilize the funds, it's very important. And I think this is the gist of the matter here. And this is why this bill is focused on how the money borrowed is going to be utilized. If you look at the statistics of other countries, you realize that their debt to GDP is higher than Kenya. For example, if you look at the African context, Kenya is at about 65.6. Seychelles is 94%. Ghana is 78. Morocco is 76. Tunisia is 87.
Just hold on, the Honorable. So the Honorable Sankok, I heard you say that you have never borrowed. If you have never borrowed, I want to let you know that you are one of the lucky few in the world who have no debt. And we wish you well, and we wish you to continue in that way. So that is, you are fortunate. You are fortunate. Just,
Mr. Speaker,
so proceed, the Honorable Osotsi.
You know, he's trying to eat into my time. So what I'm trying to say, other countries have higher debt to GDP ratios. South Africa, which is a bigger economy, is doing 80 debt to GDP. And as that has been said, even US is 128. Venezuela 350, Brazil 89. So what is important here is not the borrowing, is how do you utilize the money you borrowed. And I think that's where our focus should be, that we need to ensure prudent borrowing and prudent utilization of the funds borrowed. Now, Mr. Speaker, coming to the issues members have raised, is the issue, where did the rain start beating us? Mr. Speaker, I am happy that those who have caused this problem are the ones who are talking louder on the issue of public debt. We know when this side, led by our leader, was talking about Eurobond, they were quiet. When this side, through our leader, was talking about SGR, and SGR, Mr. Speaker, the amount of money spent on SGR could build this country 17 similar SGRs. It could build 154 superhighways. So the Jubilee government, especially in the first term, should tell us how this money was utilized. Eurobond, the country borrowed up to 780 billion shillings on Eurobond. When we raised this matter, our colleagues on the other side, who are now preachers of debt problem, were quiet. And again, Mr. Speaker, we must ask ourselves, where did it start beating us? In the 90s, there is something that IMF and World Bank introduced in this country called the structural adjustment programs, which led into conditional loaning by IMF. This is where the problem started. And we know who are in the Ministry of Finance that time. We know the people who introduced this. They are the ones who are talking loud about public debt. The structural adjustment programs led to layoffs in civil service. It led to removal of subsidies. We are talking about high fertilizer prices. Where did it start? It also led to lack of independency in the management of the economic policy in this country, because economic policy in this country is donor-driven. So when you talk about debt problem and you want to make that debt problem be the handshake problem, we are telling you, please do not open the can of worms, because we have enough information to throw it back at you, that the problems of this country started with the structural adjustment programs, with the people who are on the other side, trying to become preachers of good economic practices. So, Mr. Speaker, and we have seen scandals. Some of the money that has been borrowed has been used badly through scandals. Goldenberg, Kimwarel Dump, Eurobond, and many others. So we would like to have an explanation before you start talking about public debt and how you want to lower food prices. We want to ask you to address these issues of where did the rain start beating us. It started beating us through corruption, and we know the corruption that is there. It started beating us with the structural adjustment programs that were punitive to the people of Kenya. But all that said and done, Mr. Speaker, this is a good bill. The amendments are good, and I think it will add a lot of value to this country in terms of public debt management. For those few remarks, I support.
The Honorable Ntoimaga Musa, member for Samburu North, is not in the House. The next on the list is the Honorable Nyika.